Y'all get to see all this on the journey. I'm going to show you Kai being born, Carter. You know, y'all going to get to see the old Rashida, the old Kirk. When we had a big girl. When I was hanging with her when she was big girl.
Kirk Frost is at it again. Can you believe it? He has left Rasheeda for Jasmine Washington, and guess what? Jasmine is pregnant again. It feels like we're stuck in a never-ending cycle with these two. After everything Kirk and Rasheeda have been through, you'd think it couldn't get any messier, but here we are. This latest bombshell has everyone talking, and Rasheeda seems like she's finally ready to put an end to it all for good. If you've been following their story, you already know their marriage has been anything but smooth. Everything has played out on Love Hip Hop, Atlanta, from Kirk's cheating scandals to Rasheeda's attempts to keep her family together. It's been one dramatic ride after another. But this time, Kirk's affair with Jasmine has taken things to a whole new level. Not only has he been secretly seeing her again, but now Jasmine is pregnant with his child for the second time. It's like deja vu, and Rasheeda has had enough. This feels like a turning point in their marriage. Kirk has found himself caught in the same mess that almost broke them apart before. And instead of taking responsibility, he's acting as though he's the one who's fed up with Rasheeda. Can you even imagine? After all these years of trying to make their relationship work, Kirk is now pretending he's done with the marriage, just to cover up his affair. But this time, Rasheeda isn't buying into his lies. She's tired of the games, and from what people are saying, she's finally ready to move on. Let's backtrack for a moment. Kirk and Rasheeda have been together for more than 20 years. If you've watched Love Hip Hop, Atlanta, you know that infidelity has always been a big issue in their relationship. This has been a recurring theme, dating back to season 2 when Rasheeda was pregnant. Instead of supporting her, Kirk started acting suspicious and even accused her of cheating. He went as far as questioning if the baby was his. That was one of the first red flags, and it showed just how messy things were getting. But the real drama began when Kirk cheated on Rasheeda during a guy's trip. Do you remember that scandal? He hooked up with multiple women while Rasheeda was home, pregnant. It was a massive betrayal, and many thought their marriage wouldn't survive it. Somehow, Rasheeda decided to forgive him and try to move forward. Fast forward to the situation with Jasmine Washington. This was a whole new level of betrayal. Kirk not only cheated again, but this time he had a full-blown affair with Jasmine, who worked as a stripper. To make matters worse, Jasmine ended up pregnant. At first, Kirk tried to deny everything. He spent months pretending he had no involvement with Jasmine or the baby, even though it was pretty clear what had happened. Eventually, he had no choice but to take a DNA test, and surprise, he was the father. This affair nearly destroyed his marriage to Rasheeda, but once again, she chose to forgive him. She showed incredible strength by giving him another chance despite everything he had put her through. But now, it's clear that Kirk hasn't learned anything from his mistakes. Here we are again. Just when it seemed like Kirk had turned things around, rumors started swirling that he was secretly seeing Jasmine again. Before anyone could make sense of it, Jasmine announced she was pregnant with Kirk's child for the second time. It was like history repeating itself. People were shocked, and honestly, so was Rasheeda. After everything she went through with Jasmine the first time, Kirk still went back and made the same mistake. This news hit Rasheeda hard, but this time she's taking a different approach. When she found out about Jasmine's pregnancy, she was devastated. And who wouldn't be? After standing by Kirk's side through so many betrayals, this felt like the ultimate act of disloyalty. But Rasheeda isn't falling for Kirk's excuses anymore. She's done listening to his justifications and promises to change. This time, it seems like she's ready to walk away for good. While Kirk continues to act as though he's the victim in all of this, Rasheeda is finally putting herself first. And honestly, who could blame her? After years of heartbreak and betrayal, she deserves better than this endless cycle of lies and infidelity. It's hard to say what's next for Rasheeda, but one thing is clear: she's tired of being stuck in this toxic relationship. Fans of the show are rallying behind her, hoping she'll finally leave Kirk and focus on her own happiness. Meanwhile, Kirk's actions have once again made him the center of controversy. This time, though, it feels like there's no coming back from it. Whether Rasheeda decides to move on or not, one thing is certain: this latest scandal has changed everything. Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage has been through more ups and downs than most people could handle, but it seems like this might be the final straw. Whatever happens next, we can only hope that Rasheeda finds the peace and happiness she deserves after all of this. Rasheeda has finally had enough of the lies and constant drama in her marriage. In the past, she might have tried to forgive Kirk and find a way to make things work, but this time feels different. She's done with his mess, and no matter how much she tried to hold on for the sake of their family, she can't do it anymore. Kirk, on the other hand, isn't taking responsibility for what he's done. Instead of owning up to his actions, he's trying to paint himself as the victim. He's telling people that he's been unhappy in the marriage for a long time. almost like he's trying to make it seem like the affair with Jasmine isn't a big deal. But let's be honest, we all know this is just his way of avoiding the truth. He messed up again, and now he's acting like it's no big deal. It's a typical move for Kirk: dodge responsibility and pretend that he's been unhappy for years to avoid facing the fact that he's betrayed Rashida once again. This time, however, Rashida isn't falling for it. After all these years of dealing with his lies and cheating, she's reached her breaking point. She's been patient, tried to make it work, and put up with so much for the sake of their family. But there's only so much one person can handle, and with Kirk's second pregnancy scandal with Jasmine, Rashida knows that this time things have gone too far. She's done. Fans are furious with Kirk, and it's clear from the flood of reactions on social media. Since the news broke about Jasmine's second pregnancy, people haven't held back. One Reddit user said, "Kirk is the type of man to ruin a good thing just because he's bored," while another added, "Kirk doesn't deserve her, and Jasmine clearly doesn't care about blowing up their whole family. This cycle needs to end." While the anger toward Kirk is loud and clear, the support for Rashida has been overwhelming. Fans want her to choose herself and move on. They've been commenting things like, "Rashida, you deserve peace, and you've given him enough chances. It's time to choose yourself." It's evident that people are rooting for Rashida, and after everything she's been through, it's hard not to hope for her happiness. But the big question remains, will Rashida actually file for divorce this time? From all the signs, it seems like Kirk and Rashida's marriage may finally be over for good. After over 20 years of ups and downs, infidelity, and constant public embarrassment, who can blame her for wanting to walk away? Rashida has given Kirk so many chances over the years, yet each time he's found a way to mess things up again. She's been through more than most people would tolerate in a marriage, and this latest betrayal is simply too much for her to bear. Rashida has always been the strong one, trying to keep their family together and work through their issues. But how do you move forward when the same things keep happening? It's one thing to forgive someone once, but forgiving the same person for the same mistakes over and over is a lot for anyone to handle, especially when it's all playing out in the public eye. From what we've seen and heard, it seems like Rashida is finally ready to focus on herself, her business, and her family. Ending a marriage after 25 years is never easy, but sometimes you have to do what's best for your own peace and happiness. There's always that lingering question though, will Rashida actually go through with it? Sources close to Rashida say she's considering divorce, but nothing's been confirmed yet. Everyone knows that leaving a marriage that's lasted this long isn't a simple decision. There are children, businesses, and so many years of shared history. It's not just about walking away, it's about deciding if the relationship is worth saving or if it's time to move on for good. And that's where things get complicated. Even though Rashida has been hurt and betrayed, she's always tried to make things work in the past. So, will she give Kirk another chance, or is this truly the end of their marriage? From what we've been hearing, Rashida has reached her breaking point. But until we see those divorce papers, anything is possible. As for Kirk, he's still trying to justify his actions. He claims he's been unhappy for a long time, but let's face it, that just sounds like another excuse. He's been dodging responsibility for his behavior for years, and now fans are seeing right through him. Everyone knows that Kirk's actions have destroyed his marriage, and people are fed up. They want to see Rashida move on, and they're rooting for her to find happiness. So, what do you all think? Should Rashida finally leave Kirk for good, or do you think there's a chance they could somehow work things out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button.